Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. This video will be about constraint layout, which is another type of layout, just like linear layout, which we used in the previous video. And I will split this video into several parts because it's very important to understand constraint layout, and it's currently the most important layout type in Android. So there are very many different layout types in Android, but I think it's really enough to understand constraint layout for now, because you can build almost every layout you can think of just with a single constraint layout. When you design your layouts in Android, then your goal is always to have a layout hierarchy that is as flat as possible. And currently our layout hierarchy isn't flat because we nested several linear layouts into each other, and that is bad performance-wise because Android will have to calculate much more to determine the position of a view on the screen. And constraint layout will help us to achieve such a flat layout hierarchy to improve the performance and to build your layouts much easier. And I told you in the last video that we will create our layouts from the text tab here. But for this video about constraint layout and the next videos about constraint layout, I will show you this from the layout editor because for constraint layout particularly, this is much easier in the beginning to have that visual representation of what we are currently doing. To start with constraint layout, we have to delete all the views that we inserted into our linear layout here. So just click on the first one, hold down Shift and click on the last one, and then simply hit delete. And now we only have that single linear layout, which is the root layout. And if you right click onto that, then you can see we can convert our linear layout to a constraint layout. Alternatively, we could also go to our text tab here, double click on that linear layout to select it, and then simply type constraint layout. Press enter and Android Studio will insert that whole long string which is used to declare a constraint layout. So then we can go back to our design tab. So what we can do with constraint layout now is let's take a button here and drag it into our layout. Then you can notice those 4 little circles here at each side of that button, and from those circles we can drag a line to another side to constrain that side to, for example, the parent here. And that means that this button will now stick to the top side of our constraint layout, of our root layout. So you can say that such a constraint just determines to which view this view, so the button, is relative to. And as you can see, we get a little error here right to that button, and if we hold onto it, it tells us this view is not constrained horizontally. At runtime it will jump to the left unless you add a horizontal constraint. And that is exactly what will happen here if we run this app, because every view inside of a constraint layout needs to have at least one horizontal constraint, so either that top circle here or that bottom circle, and a horizontal constraint, which is either that left or that right circle. So to solve that error, we need to either drag that right circle to the right, so it will stick to the top right corner here, or we can also drag that left circle here to the left to center that button now. So you can think of that now that both sides, the left and the right side, will drag with equal force into their direction. So this circle will drag to the left and this circle will drag to the right. And because both drag with equal force, that button will stay in the middle of that screen. But we cannot only constrain views to the parent layout. Instead, if we drag another button into that layout, then you can see this button has those 4 little circles too, and we could take that button and drag the top to the bottom of that button, which means that this button will always stick to the bottom of this button. And if we would drag that bottom circle here up to the bottom of our root layout, then that would mean that the button is in the center of that top button here and the bottom of our root layout. And as you can see, we get the same error again for that second button because we only constrained it in vertical and not in horizontal. So to change that, we need to drag those two circles here on the left and on the right, or at least one of them, to the parent layout, or we could also constrain them to the left of that top button, so it will always stay in center of that button vertically, horizontally. So whenever that button in the top here now changes its horizontal position, so let's say we remove that right constraint here. To do that, we can go to the tab on the right which says attributes, scroll down a little bit, and here we can see all the constraints of that particular view, and we want to remove now that end constraint which just says the constraint which is on the right. And if we press delete here, then you can see this button gets now dragged to the left, but also this button, because we set those left and those right constraints of that button to the left and the right of our top button. Also, you may have noticed this little top bar here with some options for our constraint layout and our views inside of that constraint layout. In this video, I want to go through these options and explain them. So to start, let's remove our both buttons here inside of our constraint layout, press delete. And first I want to enable that magnet button here, which is currently disabled. And when we enable that and drag a new view into that constraint layout, first if we drop it into nowhere, then nothing will happen. But if we take that button and drag it to the center, then you notice that little vertical line. And that means that if we drop it now, that button will automatically get centered horizontally. And that also works with the vertical constraints. So if we take that button and drag it like to that spot where both lines, the horizontal one and the vertical one, appear, and if we drop it there, then it will automatically be constrained to all sides of our parent layout. However, I usually keep this feature turned off and set my constraints manually. So I will disable it again. Next to that magnet button, you can see that 0dp button, and if we click onto that, we can set a default margin. A margin just determines how much space is between this view and another view. And this default margin will always apply to newly set constraints, so we can set it to our own value or just click on those default values here, like 16 for example. I will do that. Then the margin is set to 16 dp, and let's remove that button, and I will show you that with two other buttons. If we now take our first button and constrain it to the right of our second button, then you can see that there's a little bit space of those two buttons. If we zoom in a little bit, then you see that it says the space of that is exactly 16 dp, and that is the margin. So if we remove that margin, if we click onto that button, and here we can adjust that margin. If we set it to 0, then that button would be directly next to that button. But if we set it to 16, then there is a little bit space between those two buttons, exactly 16 dp. And we can also increase that margin by just dragging that right button or that left button to their side, and you can see that this number increases now. Let's drop it at the margin of 100, and whenever we now drag that left button somewhere, then the right button will always be 100 dp away from that left button. So if we drop it on the top here, then there will still be 100 dp space between those two buttons. So that default margin just means that whenever we constrain a view to another view, then the margin will automatically be set to 16 dp in this example. But of course you can also keep this at 0 dp as default and set your margins manually. Another very cool and very important feature of constraint layout is that we actually have one more option for the layout width and layout height other than wrap content, match parent, and a fixed dp amount. So if we, for example, take our right button here, and I will remove that margin very quick, and also remove that left constraint of that button. If we constrain this to the right of the parent, and we want to have this button between that button and the left of the parent, so we constrain it to the left of that parent and to the right through the left of that button. And if we now want to have this button fill the whole width of those constraints, then we can simply go into that layout width attribute, click into that and set it to 0 dp. That will mean that it just fills the whole width of that constraint, and that is very unique to constraint layout. The next option in the top bar here, right next to that default dp amount, is an option that just clears all constraint of the layout. So if we click onto that and accept this dialog, then you can see that every button and every view we have in that constraint layout now does not have constraints anymore. So use this whenever you want to reconstrain your whole layout. The next option we have here is that little magic button, which will just scan your layout depending on where you drag your views, so without setting constraints, and then it will try to automatically set those constraints the way you want them to have. So if we drag this long button up here and this button to the right of that long button, and if we now click onto that magic button, then Android Studio will try to set the constraints the way you want them to have, but usually that doesn't work that reliable, as here you don't want that button to have that much space, exactly that 85 dp and 27 dp to the top. That's usually something that doesn't work that reliable. If we select that button here, then two other options will appear at the top bar. The first one is to expand our button in horizontal or in vertical. This option is mostly pretty shit because it just leads to some very weird behavior. So if we expand that horizontally here, for example, then you can see that the whole button's width is expanded to the screen's width, but because we have that margin of 85 dp here, the button will just move out of our screen, and that is definitely not a behavior we want to have here. So let's revert that. And finally we have another option. For that I want to remove that button and insert a new one. So make sure you have that button selected now and click onto those two bars here. And with those we can automatically constrain our button in horizontal or in vertical. So let's try that horizontal option. That means that it just tries to find the horizontal items that are next to that button and constrain it to them. So in that case there are no items between that parent layout and our button, so it will just constrain the button to the parent layout. But if we use that vertical option here, then it will find that button which is between that parent layout and our button, so it will just constrain our button here between our previously created button and the root layout here. So that is an option that can be useful, but still I like to set my constraints manually. And yeah, that's it for the first part of the constraint layout series. I hope this was helpful for you. If so, please leave a like and comment below. Also, if you have any questions, then don't mind asking them in the comments so I can answer them. And I hope I can see you in the next video again. Have a good day. Bye bye.